Am I the a-hole for announcing my engagement 3 days after my brother's wedding? Let me tell you a story I never thought I'd be sharing because, honestly, it still feels like a whirlwind of emotions and misunderstandings. It all started with my brother's wedding. But not just any wedding, a very intimate, destination elopement ceremony in Arizona. Picture this, a stunning desert landscape, a small group of just 11 people, and a couple deeply in love. It was picturesque and heartfelt, exactly the kind of event you'd imagine for a pair who wanted something meaningful and personal. Now, let me give you some backstory. My brother and I? We don't have the closest relationship. Over the years, we've had our ups and downs, mostly downs, if I'm being honest. His temper and tendency to lash out have always been a point of contention. And as for his now wife, my new sister-in-law? Well, let's just say we've always been friendly, but not exactly close. Still, I was genuinely happy for them both. I wanted to support their special day, so my fiancé and I made the trip to Arizona to celebrate with them. The ceremony was beautiful. Sedona's red rocks framed the vows, the sun cast a golden glow over everything, and you could feel the love in the air. It was intimate and emotional. My brother seemed happier than I'd seen him in years, and my sister-in-law looked radiant. Everything went off without a hitch, and I left that day feeling like maybe, just maybe, this would be a turning point for our family, a chance to grow closer. After the wedding, most of the guests returned home. But my fiancé and I decided to extend our trip. We'd flown all the way to Arizona, after all, and the Grand Canyon was just a couple of hours north. Neither of us had ever been, and it felt like the perfect opportunity for a mini-adventure. So, we packed up our rental car and headed north, excited for what was supposed to be a relaxing getaway. Little did I know, this trip would change everything. The Grand Canyon was even more breathtaking than I'd imagined. If you've ever been there, you'll know what I mean. It's the kind of place that makes you feel small in the best possible way, like you're standing on the edge of the world. We spent 2 days exploring the trails, taking in the views, and just soaking up the magic of it all. On the second day, as the sun began to set and painted the canyon in shades of orange, pink, and gold, my fiancé turned to me with a look I'd never seen before. He got down on one knee. I was speechless. Tears welled up in my eyes as he pulled out a ring and asked me to marry him. It was perfect. No fancy setups, no crowds, just the two of us in one of the most beautiful places on earth. Of course, I said yes. We hugged, laughed, cried, and spent the rest of the evening talking about our future. It was a moment I'll never forget. Naturally, I wanted to share the news with my family. I was so excited to tell them about this new chapter in my life. My fiancé and I snapped a few pictures, and I sent a group text to my immediate family, including my brother and sister-in-law, with the announcement. I kept it simple and heartfelt: we're engaged. He proposed at the Grand Canyon, and I couldn't be happier. Love you all and can't wait to celebrate together. What happened next? Let's just say it wasn't the reaction I expected. My brother's response came almost immediately, and it was hostile. His text was short, but it hit me like a slap in the face. It looks like you're trying to compete. That is incredibly socially inept of him or both of you. Compete? With what? My engagement? Their wedding? I stared at the screen in disbelief. Surely, this was some kind of misunderstanding. I quickly realized that my brother wasn't just angry, he was advocating for my sister-in-law, who apparently felt deeply hurt by the timing and location of our engagement. But I couldn't wrap my head around why. I tried to respond with understanding. I apologized immediately, explaining that it was never our intention to overshadow their wedding or make them feel like our engagement was a competition. I sent my sister-in-law a separate message, pouring my heart out. I told her how sorry I was if our actions had hurt her, that we genuinely hadn't thought our timing would be an issue, and that we believed there was room for everyone's happiness. I ended with a promise to make amends however I could. She didn't respond. But my brother did, and this time, his message was even more brutal. He doubled down, accusing us of being selfish and thoughtless. It's the action of doing it 3 days after the wedding at the same location that's the most brain-dead move. She has a past that was supposed to make everything about that wedding much more meaningful. Everyone knows that weddings are about the bride. He could have absolutely planned around it. Hellishly stupid and selfish. Trust me when I say I'm biting my fucking tongue right now. I was stunned. Completely blindsided. To clarify, we didn't even get engaged at the same location. Their wedding was in Sedona, and our engagement happened at the Grand Canyon, hours away. And as for my sister-in-law's past making their wedding more meaningful, I had no idea what he was talking about. They'd never shared any of that with me. The venom in his words cut deep. This wasn't just disappointment or hurt feelings, it was rage. And the worst part? It didn't feel proportional to what had happened. I started questioning everything. Was my engagement really such a terrible thing? Or was this reaction about something bigger, something deeper that had nothing to do with me? The days since have been a roller coaster. I've replayed the events over and over in my head, trying to figure out where we went wrong. Was it the timing? Should we have waited longer to announce our engagement? But then again, would waiting have made a difference? My fiancé and I were just trying to share a happy moment with the people we love. I'm torn about what to do next. Part of me wants to reach out to my sister-in-law again, to try and understand her perspective and make amends. But another part of me wonders if it's worth it. My brother and I have never had a great relationship, and his pattern of toxic behavior makes me question whether this is just another chapter in a long history of misplaced anger. All I know is this: what should have been one of the happiest moments of my life has been overshadowed by drama and tension. And the saddest part? I'm not even sure how to fix it. So, what do you think? Was I in the wrong, or is this a case of family drama blowing things out of proportion? Let me know in the comments, because right now, I'm at a loss.